Hello, puppies and kittens. Once again, I'm talking with Jackson Rowe, and he wanted to address, some of the stupidity that we get from the flat Earth community. And he had some data that was obtained yesterday that he thought would address this argument nicely. So, explain, Jackson Rowe, what have you
Yeah.
got for us?
Basically, I wanted to listen in to the ISS's ham radio. It has a ham radio on board, which you can hear as it passes over your area. And I happened to tell my uncle about this idea, and he is kind of a tech genius, and he has a ham radio and all this. He also has a time lapse camera that he uses for astronomy. So not only did he obtain a time lapse of the ISS going over, but also he listened into he got 4 minutes of astronauts talking to each other on the International Space Station, and he recorded the Doppler shift of the signal as the ISS approached and as it went away. So the only way something like that is possible is if the ISS is actually in space, is actually going as fast as they say it is on the trajectory they say it's going on, and if it's a real thing. Now, of
All right,
course,
so you're saying that this is something that, and you said your uncle was a genius, but you don't necessarily have to be a genius. Anybody that has a ham radio, any idiot who has a ham radio would be able to tune in and pick up. This is fact in evidence that anybody can verify.
Anyone can do
with a simple piece of equipment. Yeah,
even a $20 specific type of handheld radio will pick it up. 145.9 megahertz, I think it is. But now let me show you what it is he found. It's pretty incredible. And it's not just flat earthers that deny this stuff. It's really it's geocentrists, it's conspiracy theorists, it's science deniers.
It's anybody who denies reality in whole or in part.
Denies reality. That's right. Now, are you seeing my screen here?
Oh, you got to yeah. Just let me add that. There we go.
Okay. First, we've got some time-lapse photos of the ISS coming in. You can see down here, it's starting to streak over the horizon. It's coming in more here.
So you're saying that that whatever idiot with a ham radio can not only tune in to their radio and listen to it, but they can also watch it go by.
Oh yeah, I've seen it go over. It's some contend it's an airship, believe it or not. Some flat earthers. And let me tell you, it's moving way too fast for that to be the case.
And it's not a what is a Mach a Mach speed dirigible?
Right, it's not going the speed of sound or faster. I don't think there's such a thing yet. Now this is pretty cool.
Dirigibles not being hypersonic.
Yeah. All right. Tell me if you're hearing it or not.
Yep.
Okay. Let's just listen to this for a minute. This is on board the ISS as it's passing overhead.
November 9, X-ray Golf, Kilo 5 Delta, November Alpha, Echo Mike 35, QSL. November 0, Papa Oscar, Echo November 32, QSL. November 0, Station Alpha, Echo 2, Mike Papa, Iowa. Kilo 5 Delta, November Alpha, thank you. Echo November 60, okay. QSL 73. Which is Kilo 5 Delta, November Alpha, Alpha, Echo 2, Mike Papa. Papa, again? Alpha Echo 2 Mike Papa. Alpha Echo 2 Mike Papa, Iowa. Alpha Echo 2 Mike Papa, Kilo 5 Delta, November Alpha Echo Mike 35, QSL. Kilo 5 Delta, November Alpha, QSL, Echo Mike Papa. Yeah. Golf Kilo, Echo Mike 74. Kilo R2, Kilo 1, Romeo Charlie. Kilo Charlie, Alpha Charlie, Echo, November 37. Alpha Delta 2, Delta Delta, Fox, November 1-2.
Anyway, isn't that incredible?
Yeah. Well, okay. So we can tell what we're tuning into. I mean, anybody with a ham radio should be able to tell what they're tuning into.
I can do this. That is the next slide here.
Okay.
Here there's a time lapse, but then it shows the screen, the frequency drift of the International Space Station signal, sped up 2,000 times. So that should not, all of this should not be possible unless we're actually in space and we're actually, on the space station. Now, I've found on like Facebook and Twitter and YouTube that there are just more and more people who deny this basic fact that literally anyone can verify for themselves.
Well, here's the problem that I see is that people just deny basic fact.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I run into problems all the time where people will say definitively, what's wrong. And so I'll give the definition. Okay, if you say that this is what macroevolution means or whatever we're arguing about, right? You provide a definition for it. People will make up one.
Right.
No, I didn't ask you to make up one. I asked you to go look up one. See what it is from all the educational sources. Just look it up on 2 or 3 dictionaries. Compare them. Just post a definition here, and they can't because they know that the real definition is not the one they're using. They're using a straw man. They don't care what the real definition is. So if I tell them, well, no, that's not what's being taught. It's actually this other thing. They don't care that we can look up and show links to all of these different sources proving that this is what it actually is, definitively not the thing that they're saying. Therefore, they are wrong and they should correct themselves because that's never going to happen.
Right.
They're never going to admit that they're wrong. Facts don't matter because facts don't give them the feels.
Mm-hmm. That's true. But
so you got this guy who gets a GoPro camera. And he hooks it up to a weather balloon. Now, this is a cool thing to do, right? So I don't know if he was a flat earther or not, but just a guy who had access to a weather camera or a weather balloon, and he just hooked up a GoPro to it already running.
Mm-hmm.
And he's recording himself now as he hooks the camera up, right? And so it's still recording when they launch the thing, and of course it goes to the edge of space. You can see the curvature of the Earth. You can see how fantastically high it is. When the same thing comes down and gets collected, and then he goes and collects his camera again, and he looks at the footage. If you want personal verification, hard to get better than that, right?
That's true.
But then but they're not going to believe that. They're not going to believe it even if it's their own GoPro.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, have you seen the movie on the Flat Earth where they go to perform this experiment with the laser over the lake and everything? And
it's the wrong
spot. If the world is flat, then the laser should come through here. If the world is round, then it should come through here. But it doesn't come through here. They raise it and realize, oh, it's coming through here. Oh, interesting. Do they admit that their experiment was falsified? Do they admit that this proves a globe? No, of course not. Because that's a fact. And they're all about make believe.
Yep.
Okay. So it doesn't matter. They know what the reality is. They want to pretend something else.
Yeah. And that's why channels like this are so important, because maybe you're not going to change their minds, but you're going to prevent other people from falling down this rabbit hole of pseudoscience and just basic fact denial. So, yeah, I've watched your channel for years, and you're doing a great thing. And I just wanted to contribute something like that to hopefully keep people away from this pseudoscientific belief that the Earth is flat or stationary or whatever.
That's why I don't even bother with the flat Earth, because it's so wantonly dishonest. I mean, I've gotten a couple of flat Earth people to admit that it doesn't matter if the world is really a globe. They're going to continue to make believe that it's flat because they like to pretend that it's flat. Because putting the ISS up in orbit, yeah, that's a great achievement. Putting a man on the moon, that's a great achievement. So and idiots had no part in that. That was an important thing that idiots will not be a part of. The only way the idiot can feel good is if they feel that they are the select few with the secret knowledge that it's all a scam. And so every conspiracy theorist thinks they're part of the elite. They think they're the ones with the privileged knowledge, the unknown truth.
Yeah.
And that makes them important. And that's like the only way they can be.
I guess that's part of their reason for doing it. They need to feel important. I like that mug, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah. And another reason I think that they do it is it's not just that they can't feel important or intelligent otherwise. I mean, it's because they don't understand things just in general.
Oh yeah.
And so when they do this make believe thing, then they can pretend that they have a better understanding than everybody because they've somehow seen through the great cloak of deception or whatever that they want to pretend that it is.
Yeah, I've seen some Flat Earth Facebook page. Their understanding of physics is maybe second grade level. I mean, they have no idea of anything. They really don't.
I got into it when they put the Flat Earth. Oh, do we have any more ISS footage?
No, that's all. Just
okay. All right. Well, then we'll close up here in a moment. Then.
Yeah.
I got into it with a flat earther once who. He said that you can't go to Antarctica because Antarctica he was one of those flat earthers who made the mistake of bringing a model. The flat earthers generally don't have a model because they know it can be immediately disproved. Right. So he was holding on to the old idea that you can't go to Antarctica because Antarctica is not an island continent, that it is in fact a ring around the flat Earth, and that the ring around the flat Earth is protected by a vast armada of all the power nations, trying to prevent people from getting to the edge of the Earth. But he says, so you can't go to Antarctica. And so I pulled up a link in a moment. I said, I know 5 people who have been to Antarctica because you can go there. It's a part of a tour. Yeah. It's expensive.
It is.
But you can take your family. You can take your family to Antarctica. And then tell you what we can do. And this is what threw him. He thought I was super rich. For some reason, there's some people out there who think I'm super rich. I'm so not.
I'm right there.
I'm so struggling and barely making it and not always making it. So patreon.com/ARONRA. Need all the help I can get. But anyway, this guy thought that I was rich. And so I said, here's something we can do. And this threw him because he was not a smart guy, like at all. I said, what we could do is we could take a trip to Antarctica. And not only would you go to Antarctica, but just to make sure, you can take your compass with you. You can get GPS measure. We can know where we are in the world the whole way. We can go from like Santiago, Chile. We can go straight south, and we'll know that we're going south. We get to this point, and then you could take a jet. See, like commercial jets have the fuel capacity that they could circumnavigate the entire continent of Antarctica, and so we could just take off, head this way, and be constantly banking to the right, little bit, all the way around until we come back to our point of origin. And we would be able to do that on a single tank of gas. Whereas if you were right, if Antarctica was a ring around the entire planet, there'd be no way.
Yeah.
We'd have to fuel up 8-10 times. But we could do that. We can go around Antarctica. And the thing was, as I said, this guy was not smart. So he thought that I was rich. He thought that I had my own jet. He thought that I was going to force him to get on my jet and look out the window as I disprove his precious belief. And that's when he confessed to me that he's going to believe it, even if we disprove it, because he likes to believe it, because it makes him feel special.
Yeah.
And because somebody with an intellect that low is never going to feel special otherwise.
Right. One more thing about Antarctica. I learned this like within the past week. There's actually a yacht race rich people do every year. It goes around Antarctica. Goes around.
How does the Armada not get involved to stop them?
I have no idea. I guess they're paying them off. That's the only thing I can think.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Well, all right. I haven't seen much of the chat. I've just tried to scan it. But if that's all we got, then we'll go ahead and close it up. And
right.
Jackson, thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
I do want to have another chat with you. You
Mm-hmm.
had another presentation that we can do like next week if you like.
Yeah, that's fine.
On what was the other one you wanted to do?
It was the rate project.
Oh yes, that's right. The radiometric dating that was deliberately botched by young Earth creationists like Andrew Snelling and Steve Austin and all that. All right, we'll do that next week sometime.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you much.